Just to update that this video is extracted from the our member audio or member stream, right? Where I do the personalized training. So it may contain some extra talks just for at that time because it is just a cutout from that whole video of 1 hour. Okay. As always, so do consider subscribing to the channel. 92% of people are not subscribing after watching the video. It does help the content creator, right? And if you're coming from Google search and if this video helps you, don't forget to give super thanks and always like and subscribe. Don't forget to ask any question in the comment section. I do reply to all of them. Thank you.
What are the best scenarios, right, to use slots for, like in a real life scenario?
So anything which is particular to the information, what I mean is they have already given the slots, like inbuilt slots, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we configure intent is specifically, so let's say there is a requirement to get user account balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
The intent for that will be user will be saying something like, I want to check my account balance. What is my account balance?
Like they just
Help
know
me.
they're having
Yeah,
pretty
something
much.
like that.
Yeah.
This is the phrase
Mm-hmm.
that user will say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what will be the slot in this? So to provide the user with the information of his or her account balance, right? We need his
Mm-hmm.
account number. So those particular informations, right, which is required to make a API call or to make a decision, right? Uh,
Okay.
we have to capture as a slot, right? So slot
Mm-hmm.
over here will be the number, right?
Yeah, account number.
And account number, which will be a number. Similarly, if you want to order a pizza, right, you have to
Mm-hmm.
create a custom slots like size, medium, small, large, right? So these are not out of the box. Out of the box, if I go over here and
Oh, so account type can be saving account, checking account. Okay.
So it will
yeah,
be things like I think the general idea is it will be things like specific informations for a request for an intent, right? Like
right,
if an intent wants to be able to if an intent is it's required to have like or capture specific information. It could be anything ranging from sizes, numbers, IDs, things like that, for example, right?
correct. So if you see over here, alphanumeric like member ID is one of the big good example over here. City is when you want to do something like a book a appointment or a book a flight. You use city. Same goes for current country, right? Currencies is there. Like if you want to perform conversion of currency or something like that. So which currency you want to use and that kind of information. Date, duration, like how long will be the appointment booking, email address. Free from input is basically you capture like a feedback, right? So
Like any character.
yeah, it can kind of accept any input. Confirmation like yes and no is there, right? Number, percentage, phone number, state, street name, time, first name, last name. So these are out of the box. Okay. Why so less? I thought there are many. At least Google has many. So this is what you get out of the box. Sorry. And obviously you can create more like sizes, right? T-shirt size, it can be small, large, XL, double XL, triple XL, right? So those are not created by default, but obviously you can create as a custom slot and capture the input,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
So those details, like I want to purchase a T-shirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
User say like we want to know which color, right? Which type, like T-shirt with a full hand and short hand, and then we had like to know what size, right? Then we can show some suggestions from the backend system. Similarly, for booking an airline, you want to either capture departure and what is that, arrival
All right.
location, city name,
Mm-hmm.
and how many
Mm-hmm.
passenger. right? And preferred time, is it morning, afternoon, or night? So those kind of information you will collect first, then go to the backend system and pull the information and show to the user that okay, these are the available flights for you. Select any of
Mm.
those, like that. So consider slot against the backend system. Now, why I'm saying against the backend system is much easier. Now, there are scenarios like FAQs, right? So, what is COVID? Over here, we don't have to create COVID as a slot, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, because although COVID is a particular term, but we don't have to create because it's a general FAQ, like what is COVID, what are my symptoms for the COVID-19, and something like that. So these are like general FAQ. For this, you don't create a slots. You just provide the response directly.
So it's
Okay.
possible for an intern to have multiple slots.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, definitely. It's not limited to one. Uh,
Mm.
it is expected or recommend to around use 5 to 6 slot in a intent, not more than that. Because
Okay.
then there are scenarios where customer might be saying and it is going into no match scenario, and you're not able to provide a proper
Sure.
fallback option. So limit it to 5 to 6, not more than that.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, so first what I will do is I will demo that what yesterday was not working. Okay,
Yeah.
and I will show what are the changes I have done. Okay, so first demo.
I have a specific question today for this board, but when you're done, though, I'll ask a
Yeah,
question.
yeah, let me first demo and then we will
Yeah.
do. So what I will demo over here is for 3 times we will provide invalid input, and it will go into uh, error state, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so first time it is, so it will take time.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's asking me, so I will provide invalid one. So it's going to the lex going to the lambda telling the lex that okay, it's please enter
Mhm.
valid member ID. Okay, again I give
Yeah.
this one. Oh, so slow. Okay, Monday I will share the Meet link. Oh, sorry, Microsoft Team links. Okay,
Yeah.
again,
Mhm.
this is too slow now. Okay, after I think third time or within the third time, it will say it's a error or it goes to the error path. Oh no, after
Please.
3 times. Come on, very slow. So number of condition I have given as three. We can reduce it to two or one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you can see
Yeah.
it went into error state. Okay, now what I will do? Wow, why so slow? All of a sudden. Okay, anyway, we'll start again. And this time,
Yeah.
after one wrong input, we will give valid input so that it accepts and display that information. Okay, so we have given invalid. It will tell that it's not a valid. Now we will give the valid one,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes to the valid route where it display the member ID, which has been written by the Lex,
Mm-hmm.
and then connect to the agent. Okay, so let me disconnect, and even for the first time also, if we give, it will accept. So at the very first attempt, I am also giving it. So these three scenarios we have covered. One is maximum retry. One is first time it is invalid, and then it's a valid, and when it's directly valid.
Yeah.
Okay, so now basically the everything remains change. Only change is the lambda where we are returning the JSON that I mentioned yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
right? So only that part has
Yeah.
changed. Nothing else has changed.
Ravi, can you be writing a Lambda function in Python for the
I
for,
don't know
for the
Python. I know only Java and Node.js. So
Node.js?
yeah, so
Okay.
this is you can see that we have given and it has accepted as a valid
Mm-hmm.
input.
But we can translate the
The code, right? Using
yeah.
you can translate it using ChatGPT. So
Yeah, yeah, obviously. So
Mm-hmm.
you can obviously use copy paste the same code
Ajay,
and
Mm-hmm.
sorry,
tell.
do you have a resource page for these classes? Um like where you have links to related resources that could help, like
GitHub, yeah.
he does.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a GitHub.
Yeah, so every code which I demo over here,
Uh-huh.
so if you see its recording over there in the YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
right? In the description section, the GitHub page is available if any code is being
Okay.
used. So like
Okay.
today when I upload this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
It will be like day three continue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you will see the GitHub link over there with the code which is been developed.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is where so users say English, it comes over here, right?
Mm-hmm. Idea.
And over here, if user has provided valid member ID,
Mm-hmm.
we are capturing the member ID against the slot, which is member ID in the Lex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
if it is going to the third one, we are getting error, which we play and then
Okay.
go to this route. Okay. I've just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to the same over here rather than it should go over here, but that's okay. In the left
Mm-hmm.
side, there is no change for this one. So we still have member ID. We are still calling the lambda. Everything remains the same. Nothing change over here. The only thing
Okay.
changes over here is two things. First, let it get loaded.
Mm-hmm.
I will also copy over here so that over here. Yeah, I think some new data is problem. I will paste it over here so it will be easy to understand. Okay. So this is the old
Mm-hmm.
code which
Yeah.
was commented out. Okay. And this is where we have started, right? So what we have done
Yeah.
is we have taken the user input, we have matched against the regex that we created,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and we are saying if it is true or false, we will get if it matches or not, whatever the user has entered, right? So we get true and false over here. Now, if it is a false, okay, ignore this
Mm-hmm.
part of the code for now. Okay, so let me delete this
Mm-hmm.
part. Okay, so what I'm doing, if it is session attribute is false, means it does not match, we have
Mm-hmm.
to send something called illicit slot. Okay, so there are around five uh, types are there, right? One is close, right? This is what we were using yesterday. Then there is a illicit
Mm-hmm.
slot. This is telling that for this intent, whatever the intent name is there, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
just a second. I think Foy is joining. Uh, yeah, hi Foy.
Hey Rajiv.
Okay, so where I was. Okay, so let me explain this one. So type, so there are five types are there. Let me open the document also. I think that will be AWS Connect. Uh, what is that? Lex return type. I think. What was that? I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Lex with Lambda. Response format. Okay. So what you see over here is these are the types which are supported as a response. So what it means is first, I'm just explaining the JSON part, right? So everything's over here has a meaning, right? And I'm explaining the types, what it does, right? From whenever you want to return something. So considering all the scenarios, so one is delegate. What delegate does is it will just tell the lex to perform the next action. What it means is there is no particular response from the Lambda. It's just telling the
Mm-hmm.
lex if there is a context you have set or if there is a subsequent uh, slot that to be captured, right? Do that. So it's just delegate. Okay. So that is one. Another is elicit intent. It tells that, okay, you are responding back to user with a message, how can I help you? Okay. And whatever the response will come, that will trigger a particular intent. Okay. So it's just telling that trigger a intent based on the message, and message has to be included. You cannot respond elicit intent without a message. Okay. What we have
Mm-hmm.
used is elicit slot. What it means is for this intent, trigger this slot. So whatever user input will be there, uh, for this intent, trigger this slot. So for our case, for this intent, okay, so our intent is, I think, what is the name?
Um,
Collect member ID.
oh,
Okay,
IDs.
for
Mm-hmm.
collect member ID, trigger this member ID in a slot for whatever the user intent is, user input is there, right? So whatever
Mm-hmm.
user will say, that will go to the member ID slot. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and there are two more are there. One is confirm intent. So if you have configured uh, confirmations section, okay. So what you
Mm-hmm.
see is over here. If you have configured this confirmation section, by this you can trigger that confirmation part. So for this intent and for this slot, okay, against the value whatever you have captured, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trigger the confirmation. Okay, so that is there. And the last is close. Close means you are not expecting any input from user. You are just returning the lex with a specific state, like if it is has failed, fulfilled, or in progress. So like if you see in my code, uh, Oh, I deleted that part, right? Sorry, Control Z. So if you see in my code, right, for the last, if the count is three, retried count is three, I am returning it as a failed and type as closed. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are the five states which are supported by Lambda for Lex. Okay. This I just overview explained that there are states that you can use and depending upon whatever the requirement is. So let's say if you want to do validation, that part we are anyway doing, right? But if there is a scenario where you want to uh, take further input from user before taking any decision, right? And for that you want to trigger another intent, so you can use this one. And if you don't want to take any input, then you use close, confirm intent, whatever value that you have captured. If you want to do confirmation, you can use confirm intent. The
Mm-hmm.
one thing to note is whenever we are in Lex or Lambda and they are talking to each other, we don't come forward to connect. What I mean over here, until unless uh, either the state is close, and if it is fulfilled or failed, then only it will come over here from the legs. Otherwise, it will still, or the journey will be, or the control will be in the leg side. Okay. The
Okay.
flow that we saw, where we have sent, this one we sent, right? We sent elicit sort and intent, and it was triggering, please enter the valid member ID, right? So the flow
Mm-hmm.
was here. It did not went to the connect side. It was waiting for the valid input till three times. And once it reached the third time, right? What happened is our code reached to a point where the count is three and it
Mm-hmm.
returned failed. So either it has to be failed or either it has to be fulfilled. Okay.
Okay.
And if it
Mm-hmm.
is in progress, there is a third state also in progress by default.
Mm-hmm.
It will not come over here. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, so that is a difference with respect to the return. So I will again remove this part. So what we did so far is we ask the user for member ID, we validate the member ID. Let's say if it is valid, right? So it is valid, we are returning. Okay, it is a close for whatever the intent name was there, and we are
Mm-hmm.
returning whole object. So this is the whole object where intent is there, right? And it contains the slot value also, right? So we are returning that part. And in the Amazon Connect, what we are doing is over here we are collecting it because we have written collected member ID. Okay.
Embroidery. Mm-hmm.
Now if it is not a valid, what we are doing is I have removed that three part. So we are again asking. So if I keep this part only, right, what it will go? It will go into infinite loop and it will keep asking till the user provide the max valid member ID. But since we don't want to go into infinite loop, we have this code where what we have done. So there is something called session attributes, which is by default null for this one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've done is I'm checking if the failed count is present or not. Okay. If it is present, then I'm checking if it is equal to three or not. If it is not present, right? So if count is not
Mm-hmm.
three, what I'm doing is I'm setting the failed count to be one. Means for the first time, right? First error, I'm setting
Mm-hmm.
count to be one. And once it is present, right? What will happen is we are increasing the count. So if it is three, we are telling that okay, this is failed. Otherwise, keep increasing the count and put the new count value over here. So first time it will be one, second time it will be a two, and third time it will be three. And
Three.
when it comes to the fourth time, sorry, third time, right? Sorry, fourth
Mm-hmm.
time, I will get the value as three, and then we will execute this part and saying that okay, you have
Three.
reached to a error state. Okay.
Okay.
So at high level, this was the code. Now question.